Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 Mark II, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Joe writes in asking if I've got any general tips on timing and making perfect loops, both in pattern mode and sample mode. I seem to have a hard time zeroing in my loops and BPM matching in general. Yeah, this can be a bit of a trick, and it kind of depends on, do you want a really tight loop or do you want it loose? I'm going to just say I've done a bunch of videos on this in the past, and you can probably find some things if you just like go into my playlist and look under looping or loop or any of that stuff. But let's say we've got a loop. The name here doesn't really indicate what the BPM is, and it's going to just play through and then stop playing. We can hear. So what I want to do is just record this as it is to the SP404 Mark II. Let's put in count in on weight. We'll just pick, it doesn't matter. I'm going to pick pad 14, and I know it's clipping a little bit over here, but whatever, it's fine. So we're just going to record it, and it thinks it's 90, but there's no way this is 90 BPM. So a couple things. One is if we go to start and end, this happens to be a nice clean loop. Let's just say we want to only do like the first bar. This seems to be a 2-bar loop. You know, you can kind of visually look here and see like where the kicks are. This is just, and this works because this is a house beat, but like I can zoom in here and I'm not even going to worry about the 0-point cross or anything else. I just want to get as close as I can to the start of this kick event. For the start, whoops, I just bumped it. I'll have to fix that again. Let's do that. Got a little too carried away with the start point. So we're going to zoom in. We'll get pretty close here. And as I said, I'm not worried about the 0-point because if you frequently when you get these things perfect, it still doesn't sound great. But let's just zoom in on the other side. We're going to kind of get as close as we can to the start point here as well. I just want to play it and make sure it sounds okay. I'm going to turn loop on. Let's get the loop point. Let's zoom out. We'll get the loop point to the same spot as the start point because we're not doing anything super fancy here. So I should be able to just hold this and watch it play through that. Whoops. I mean, it sounds fine. Now this can be a harder thing to do if you are working with like live drums. This was probably programmed in. I can certainly bounce out and go find some other things or like different timing. But I mean, to me, that sounds close enough to work with that I would probably just go in, truncate it. And this isn't going to help you necessarily find the BPM. And that can be also another problem. So at least if we've got 1 bar though, what we can now do is go to pattern mode. I'm on bank I, so let's just put in a bank I as well. I'm gonna go record, and I'm gonna make this a 1-bar loop because that's what we've got. Let's turn strength up to 100%, or we could switch over to TR rec mode and let's do TR rec mode. We'll put it in there. I'm gonna hit record, and that's my loop. So what we need is, I'm gonna hit remain to set it up to hold step to last so that it's gonna hold that note the whole time. And we should be able to play it now. And we can hear it kind of re-triggers. And it's not playing at the right BPM. So now we got to go fix the BPM here. And I'm just going back into record mode so I can do this. Let's say we go super fast. What happens? Well, first, we can hear it is looping, but it's giving us some a little bit of problem here. So I want to turn off loop. And the reason why I'm doing that, let's go slow. Because now we can hear that space now that I've turned it down. So it's going to start playing on 1-1, and then it's going to stop playing because it's not holding it any longer. I mean, we've told it to hold that note until the end of the bar, but what we can now do is dial in the BPM, because what we want to do is find where we lose that gap. And we can see that the gap's getting smaller, but it's not perfect. That's it. Like I put it at 120, 121. It sounds about right. If we go too fast, you can hear it's cutting off too early. Now, again, this is going to require you to use your ears if you do it this way, but I think it's a good way to kind of practice and just kind of figure out how you dial it in. So let's do that again. I just want to go, we'll do it a second time. So I had this set to loop. If I turn the loop on, it sounds like it's looping properly to me. And based on how we cut it, turn loop off and we'll turn, if we leave gate on, it's just gonna, or off, it's just gonna play that one time from the trigger. So what that means we can do, if we do this again, is go back to pattern mode. I'm gonna go record. I'm just gonna do TR rec again. Let's go back. We'll drop the BPM lower than what we think it is. I'm going to set it to 1 bar, hit record, hold sub pad, select that note. Oh, I did not want that to happen. We weren't in TR rec mode apparently. I wasn't paying enough attention. Let's delete this. We'll delete that abomination. Delete. All right, one more try. We're gonna do this. 1 bar. Hit. I did that wrong again. Real time. Hit remain. Go into TR rec. 1 bar. Hit record. Okay. Now we got this. Sub pad. Pad 14. And we can hear it's ending early. So if we exit out, come back into record mode, we can now control the BPM and we can start speeding this up. And as I said, we're kind of listening to get rid of that gap and make sure it sounds like it's actually in rhythm. And we're getting closer, right? As I said, this was around like 120, 121 or something. And being off by like 1 or 2 is not usually a big deal. Let's say we go to 124. It sounds like it's like at that end, it's just coming in a little fast. So the next thing I would probably do is in record mode, we'll switch over. Let's get out of record. We'll stay in record. I'm just going to switch over to rehearsal. And we're looking for, I must have some. So what I want to do is get like some hats down. So we're going to go back into recording. We'll just do like 16th notes. And if you listen, hopefully you can hear they're out of time because the BPM's wrong. So if we exit out, go back in, so we can adjust the BPM. Like 119 sounds pretty close, maybe a little slow near the tail end. I mean, I can't, it's hard to hear. 120, I suspect, is the BPM. And we can hear, like on that first 1-1, it's on, and then it just like gets out of sync more as it goes through that 1 bar. So again, this is just like a way that I would at least consider trying to go in and do beat matching for loops. I don't know if that helps you or not, Joe, but I'll post it for you. And I just say everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.